What's up, Just World? It's your boy, Tommy, man. I just came to Repatan and spoke to you guys about the whole news is coming out. I don't know if anybody's heard, so I'll try to relay this. But now, Kobe / Jordan fans, because they're really the same, are now upset and mad because LeBron, Jason Kidd, has exported or has expound on some of the situations from practice. And again and again, this is not an uncommon thing. Most people who are behind the scenes, who have actually trained or know LeBron, will tell you this is the third or fourth person who has come out and said, yeah, 1v1 LeBron's a problem. He's big, he's quick, he's fast. They're saying the person that stays on the court the longest when they do their 1v1s out of the entire USA team is generally LeBron. From 2005 to now. Because you just can't stay in front of him. He's too fast, he's too quick, he's too strong, he's powerful. So it's hard to stay in front of him. So 1v1 LeBron's a problem, right? So this comes out. So Jason Kidd is interviewed, and he comes out and says what's the funniest part? I mean, what was some of the things you remember from the USA? He's like, oh yeah, well, one of the things I remember is LeBron guarding Kobe, and Kobe's trying to guard LeBron, and he started laughing, and basically asked him in Spanish. He's like, well, people don't realize how big and fast and strong LeBron is. Kobe can't guard LeBron one. This is not the first person who said this. We go back to people who literally said, I saw LeBron and Michael Jordan when LeBron was in high school, doing 1v1s. LeBron was in high school and he was dominating Michael Jordan in a 1v1. But people don't think like that. Nobody ever puts the two and two together. That Michael Jordan really was never that good of a defender. He's just a good two-guard defender, off-the-ball defender, who is generally a help defender. He is not. Jordan was never really an on-the-ball defender. So, he was. I'm not saying that Jordan was terrible on the ball, but that wasn't his thing. He just was. Jordan is not that big, and he's not that big. He's not that tall. He's tall, but he's not like Pippen is 6'9". Jordan is 6'6". So it's a big difference, and Pippen has a 7'2" wingspan. So Pippen is different. Horace Grant, they were bigger. So, Pippen is LeBron's size. You know what I mean? He's not his size, girth-wise, but he's his size, height-wise. So he would give LeBron way more problems than Jordan would. But Jordan's 6'6". Just like Kobe is 6'5", 6'6". So it's not to me. It's just a thing of that is not tall. LeBron can go over top of him, or LeBron can go around them, or LeBron can just back them down. It's just not big enough. So at the end of the day, I don't find it odd when they came out with that story about LeBron killing it against Jordan in the camp. And then after that, they said after LeBron was dominating Jordan, they said the next time they played, Jordan would always put LeBron on his team because they thought he was putting him on his team because he didn't want a replay of what LeBron did to him the last time. But nobody ever tells that story because most of the time when they go to tell those stories, they know they're going to get pushback from the rabid Jordan fan base, so they don't like to tell the story. But most people who saw both of them in the gym will say LeBron was better than Jordan, that version of Jordan, in high school. So if I don't know what rookie Jordan would have done, but I seriously doubt he was going to guard LeBron. He just wasn't big enough. So, yes, but do I think that rookie or 23, 24-year-old, 21, 22-year-old Jordan would have gave it to LeBron? Probably from from an offensive standpoint. Oh, 100%. You know what I mean? I think Jordan's an icon. Jordan's amazing. Yeah, of course Jordan would have. It's a difference between a 34, 35-year-old Jordan in comparison to a 23, 24-year-old Jordan. Obviously, there's a difference. But not defensively. That would have been a difference offensively. So do I think that Jordan would have been able to dominate LeBron? No. I think LeBron would have gave him more trouble than he would have gave LeBron, but I would give the edge to LeBron. It's kind of like Kevin Durant and LeBron. Right now, whenever I see KD and LeBron, I think it's hard, man. It just depends on who's on that day. KD is so long, you can't shoot over him. You can go around him, but I think LeBron would tire down having to try to be physical with KD the whole time, and KD would get his shot a lot easier than LeBron would get his shot. So, in a slight edge, I would give it to LeBron because I just feel like LeBron's just faster and quicker. But I think the biggest problem would be KD. I don't think LeBron and KD 1v1 LeBron and KD is not, it's a good matchup, but I still would give the slight edge to LeBron. And the same thing with Jordan and LeBron. I think Jordan and LeBron, I would give a slight edge to LeBron, but I'm talking about young Jordan, not 32 to 36-year-old Jordan. I'm talking about like young Jordan. So regardless of that, I don't think that it's a big deal. Like I said, Jordan is old at that point. Probably in his mid to like late 30s. So I'm not going to take a lot to say that this somehow means that LeBron was going against Jordan in his prime. I'm just simply pointing out the guy said it was a year or two after Jordan retired. So Jordan was still the best player in the league when he retired. So if you extrapolate that by 2 years, you would assume that LeBron was probably a pretty good player. So regardless of that situation, it's just the idea that people are constantly acting as if people have not actually seen LeBron and Jordan go against each other. They've seen it. There have been reports. There's been people saying, hey, there's actual film of this. Like, they don't put it out, but there's actual film. Like, LeBron dominated Jordan. But they will never say that. They will just say, because they're going to make sure they bury it and then try to leave it up to the myth of them and the weird random stuff to try to explain the discrepancy. Oh, let's just juxtapose this and this, and it don't make no sense. But that's, like I said, it's because Jordan fans are delusional. Regardless of what, now the Kobe fans are mad. They're saying, well, why would you besmirch a dead man? Why would you smirch? This is crazy. So if you're saying, if Jason Kidd would have came out and said, Kobe Bryant was giving it to LeBron while LeBron was trying to guard Kobe, you would have had a problem with that? Yeah, I don't think you would have had a problem with that. So him saying that Kobe could not guard, in a lot of people's eyes, the greatest basketball player to ever play 1v1 does not constitute a disrespectful comment. It only seems disrespectful to you because you need the fact that he's dead to leverage your insane beliefs and not be challenged by using the emotional barrier of Kobe is dead. So therefore, I can say he's better than LeBron, but you can't say LeBron. I can tell stories that prove he's better than LeBron. Well, if you don't think it's respectful for a person to argue against Kobe being better than LeBron, stop saying he's better than LeBron. That's an easy fix. Because if you keep trying to push the narrative and trying to slide the narrative that Kobe was better than LeBron, even though LeBron dominated the vast majority of Kobe's singles career, meaning without Shaq, LeBron dominated majority of Kobe's career without Shaq. That's not debatable. Kobe was piddling around in the bottom feeders outside of 2 or 3 years, outside of those years without Shaq. And the years with Shaq was before LeBron got there. So if you make the argument that even at that time, the team that Kobe and Shaq lost to, LeBron beat by himself. The Pistons. So, to me, I mean, if I'm not, like I said, I'm getting older, so if I'm messing up the timeline, then let me know. But as far as I remember the Pistons beating the Lakers, right? Or am I making that up? And then after that, LeBron beat the Pistons twice, right? Once in the divisional and once in the to make it to the NBA Finals to play the Spurs. But maybe, like I said again, maybe I'm making it up. Maybe I'm not remembering it right. But I remember the Pistons won back-to-back championships, and I thought one of them was against the Lakers, but I could be wrong. Regardless of which, the point is that their competition was very comparable, even with Shaq. LeBron beat a team that I'm pretty sure beat him and Shaq. So at the end of the day, it don't matter anyways. The point is still made. That Piston team was good. Who did Kobe and Shaq beat in the finals? The Nets. Who else did they? Like I said, I was so out of basketball because the ratings were horrible at this time, mind you. So if you talk about cultural impact, Kobe is nowhere near LeBron. If you're talking about longevity, Kobe is one of the more longer, held, level of consistency for a long period of time. I'll give Kobe that, but he's not better than LeBron. I mean, Kobe was never widely considered the greatest player in the game until 2007, and he only was that for like a year, 2 years. So I mean, there was Allen Iverson and Kobe were in the same draft, and that's the other team they beat. The 76ers with Allen Iverson and a bunch of nobodies. But regardless, like it was just a weak East at that time, a terribly weak East, and they were, but nobody ever used saying, the East was weak when LeBron was doing that. Yeah, you know how many Hall of Famers are coming from those same teams you guys said was weak? How many Hall of Famers are coming from those teams you guys that Kobe them actually beat? The New Jersey Nets. How many Hall of Famers? You got what? Jason Kidd. You talk about the Bulls with Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah and Carlos Boozer and Titus. That was a good team. They were Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. That don't matter. LeBron beat them, so they must have sucked. The Nets. I mean the Washington Wizards with Bill and John Wall and Gortat. They must have been terrible because LeBron beat them, right? Toronto, who had the #1 record in the league at the time, with Kyle Lowry, who went on to win a championship in Miami. In Toronto, and helped Miami get to the finals. Him and and after LeBron left, mind you, after LeBron left, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and that team, right? With Serge Ibaka, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but it was I don't know if Siakam was there yet, but he might have been. Well, I'm pretty sure he was with Pascal Siakam. That team, right? That's a cakewalk. You see how insane the LeBron syndrome is? They have to. It's just delusional. They don't change their view when the world gives them different information. They change the information so that the world fits their view. So it doesn't matter how many times you look at them and say, that was a weak East. Boston Celtics with Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. That was a weak East with the Celtics big three, and that's their mindset though. How can you beat a mindset like that? Tell me a team LeBron was playing at the time that was not a perennially good team. They gave as much as they gave. It's not like the Miami Heat were running over these teams. They were good games. They just would go to 6-7 series every time. But you have to minimize it, because if you don't minimize it, you have to give LeBron his flowers, and you don't want to do that. And because you don't want to do that, you go into Crazyville and start grabbing for things. LeBron and Kobe is not a discussion. LeBron and Kobe is not a discussion. LeBron was too dominant LeBron had more years where he was considered the best player in basketball while Kobe was in his prime to ever say that Kobe and LeBron is a debate. They're not a debate, because Kobe won 2 championships. Does not change the fact that LeBron went on to completely annihilate the league with Kobe in it. Look, Kobe has a losing percentage against LeBron and his teams. It does not even make any sense. You can't even make the same arguments you make with Michael Jordan, because LeBron and Michael Jordan never played each other. But Kobe and LeBron played each other a lot of times, and it was not even close. That was an off game for LeBron when they played the Lakers for the majority of his career. This were games where LeBron didn't even have to try. He was out by halftime in a lot of these games, because Kobe was on piddling bottom of the ranked teams 90% of his time without Shaq. We would say 60 to 75% of his seasons without Shaq, the Lakers were mediocre. But we're going to sit up here and have a discussion as if this dude is out here on the same level as what LeBron doing, going to 15, 16 straight finals and stuff. That's crazy. That means a kid was born and never saw a year for somewhere between 12 and 16 years. That means a kid was born and went through damn near grown all the way up through puberty without ever seeing a finals that LeBron wasn't in. And then after that, he only went 1 or 2 years after that, before LeBron was in the finals again. So that means out of all his year, he only had, until he was ready to drive, he probably didn't have but 1 year where LeBron wasn't in the finals. That's an insane accomplishment, no matter who his team was around it. And your mindset thinking about this is to somehow demean it and to compare him to Kobe, who you would say out of I can't even remember when Shaq left. Like 05, 04, 05, I think 04 or 05. So that's about what? LeBron came in the league in 2003. Had his first team in the finals in what, 2006, 2007, or 2009 or something like that? Somewhere between 2007 and 2009. Like I said, I don't keep stats on the side. I just go off my head. But I know it wasn't long before LeBron was in a final. Right? And if I'm not mistaken, which I don't think I am, I think LeBron went to the finals before Kobe went to the finals without Shaq. I might be wrong. But if that is true, that's crazy. So the idea that Jason Kidd pointing this out is somehow, they besmirching a dead man to make LeBron look good. Why would Jason Kidd do that? What is Jason Kidd's incentive to doing it? There is no incentive. He's not doing it. He's just telling a true, funny story to him about Kobe's tenacity. That he knew that Kobe couldn't guard LeBron, but Kobe was still ready and up for the challenge. He was just trying to talk about Kobe's mentality. But because it hurts their argument, they're ignoring the actual point he's making to try to make it look like he's insulting Kobe when he's not. There's nothing insulting about saying that a person that is bigger and faster and more athletic than you are probably could beat you 1v1 when y'all both are really talented players. Nobody's saying that Kobe probably couldn't play. But the idea, and not to mention at that point, Kobe was older anyways. Kobe was in like year 15, 16 at that point. So it's not even a situation where you should even look at it in that way. But that's how crazy they are. Because their whole entire narrative, their whole entire insanity has been built on this argument that Kobe and LeBron, that Jordan's mentality is somehow better than LeBron's. And the reason why Kobe and Jordan won all these titles was because Kobe understood how you're supposed to play, and LeBron was soft. When the truth of the matter is, LeBron got more out of his teammates than Kobe ever did, than Jordan ever did. So to me, I think it's an insane notion, and they're going to continue to push it because the narrative sells, right? But I think it's also an emotional anchor into that. I think they're emotionally anchored to this argument because it's attached to some type of memory or some type of stigma in their brain that makes them feeling a sense of loyalty to whoever they believe was the greatest. And nobody's saying you can't believe who you want is the greatest. But now we're having a discussion of whose narrative is closer to reality. And in that discussion, everything is on the table. If you are going to stand on an argument, don't get offended when a person stands on theirs. And if they just happen to have more facts to go with to support their narrative than you have to support yours, then all you can do is eat the punches. And in the end, you're just gonna have to end on, well, I just don't think that's true. I personally feel like that's not true because I like Kobe and I like the way Kobe played, and I like that Kobe was a jerk, and I like that Michael Jordan was a jerk, and I like that they treated people like crap, and they talked to their teammates like trash, and treated everybody as if they were pawns, and that, I like that mentality. So therefore, I feel like the Mamba mentality is great. I think that Jordan mentality is the worst thing that ever happened in basketball, sports in general. That idea that everybody that I have to be mean and nasty and selfish to everybody around me, yet somehow it's peddled as good leadership. But somebody trying to get the most out of their teammates because they understand they need their teammates, it's somehow seen as a weakness. I will never understand that. LeBron is like, Jordan wasn't smiling and joking. He got 1,000 pictures of Jordan smiling and joking with people he played against. Jordan would never join up with his enemy, Rodman, who who he literally hated the Pistons, literally walked off the court without shaking his hand after winning the championship. He campaigned to get him on the team. But Jordan would never go to his... Stop it. The Pistons were Jordan's greatest rivalry. Who did he recruit to play for his team? A Piston. Stop the BS. Stop the cap. Jordan is not who you think he is. It's a lie. It's just a bunch of old heads who will not die off, who keep sticking their head into the cubby house to try to tell kids that they shouldn't believe what they see and should believe what they say. No, at some point your kid's gonna grow up and say, yeah, Dad, I'm sorry, I feel like you just don't like LeBron, and you don't like LeBron because he's better than Jordan, and because he's better than Jordan, you keep making up excuses to dislike him because you're mad because he's dwindling your GOAT, and now it doesn't make a lot of sense. So a lot of stuff, it's like when people tell you, growing up, you grow up with this family that always goes to church, right? And so you don't know no better. You're a kid that, your mom said, hey, you're supposed to go to church, so you go to church. Then you sitting up there in the church, you start to realize, you start looking around. If it's a black church, white church, different. You go to black church, they 2 hours in, you ain't heard one scripture, you don't heard 12 songs, 29 songs, 29 psalms with no context, ain't taught you nothing about nothing, and then after the preacher is tired and sweaty from yelling and saying a bunch of nothing for 2 hours, he walks out. Now you sitting there trying to figure out how you can get your 2 hours back, and why, and feeling like that next week I'm gonna have to come back, and it ain't bringing me no closer to God. And all these people, all I'm doing is giving more money to this guy to go up there and act the fool for two and a half hours for nothing. And when you're a kid, you do it because you feel you're supposed to. By the time you get to about 12 or 13 years old, you start saying, I ain't learning nothing from this dude. He ain't taught me nothing. I'm no closer to God. I don't understand anything about God today that I didn't understand yesterday. So I don't really see the purpose in me going to this thing outside of it's somehow it's like showing up for school, present, so that everybody can see I'm at church, so therefore I must be close with God, but I don't feel close with God. So at some point, that kid is going to start to push back and say, I'm not learning anything about God. And guess what? I'm actually learning things that are anti-God from the world. So I'm going to you to try to fill these doubts that the world is putting in me, and all you doing is singing and acting a fool for 2 hours. And I gotta sit up there, give you money for it, give you my money that I got when I'm a kid who I don't have much. I gotta give you this money when I ain't seen God in you, and I ain't talked and I ain't learned nothing about it. I didn't learn how to have a relationship with God myself. I learned about your relationship with God and how you are somehow on a higher plane than everybody else. Go to the white church, it's the exact opposite. They got 30 minutes of worship, 20 minutes of sermon, and then you leaving out of there with literally nothing on the plate. And that's the same way these kids are going to be when it comes to learning sports. They take their parents' opinions until they get old enough to make their own. And then they just assess what's in front of them. And when they start to assess what's in front of them, you better have good answers, and you better have some factual stuff to back up how you feel, or they're just going to ignore you and start to not trust you about anything. Because they're going to say, your bias clouds your judgment. And if I can't trust your information because it's going through your filter and your filter is terrible, then in the end, I think that it's just going to end up being a bad situation for you. But anyways, to those who might not know, comment, subscribe, and thumbs it up, and like it if you like it. All right, y'all. Peace.